How to prepare a financial game plan if you're heading into a divorce is you can start to gather documents and information about all the accounts that you and your spouse have together. So that's everything. Whether it's bank accounts, investment accounts, retirement accounts, you want to start to get yourself as full a picture as possible of what the assets are. And you can generally start to think about whatever was accumulated during the marriage, approximately half of that will end up being yours. Some other factors can come into play to change those percentages, usually slightly, but you can start to think about your financial game plan in terms of half of what's there if it was accumulated during the marriage. The other thing you can try to do is gather documents. Now, there's a little bit of a caveat to this. I would not recommend waiting to retain an attorney until you have volumes of documents collected. Your attorney will walk you through what it is you need to gather. A lot of people prevent themselves from moving forward by thinking that they need to do this voluminous document gathering expedition before they get their attorneys to work. Your attorneys will tell you exactly what to get them. But in terms of that financial game plan, you want to think, okay, I'm going to have half of this essentially. And how am I going to orchestrate myself to find a place to live if I'm going to be moving? Am I going to be working? How much do I make? What are my expenses, etc.? In, quote, preparing yourself for divorce, you want to be thoughtful but not go overboard. You want to rely on your attorney to develop a comprehensive strategy with you. You can start for your own comfort and peace of mind and being responsible about it to think, okay, I'm likely to have half of what has been accumulated during my marriage for myself after my marriage. But I don't want you to get stopped trying to figure it all out alone. Like, am I going to stay here? Am I going to move? Am I going to have access to my spouse's documents and financial information if I don't already know what those are? The answer is you will find that out. You will have documents either produced by your spouse, by their attorney. If they are not playing ball and producing what they need to produce, those documents will be subpoenaed directly from the institution. So again, you can start to think through maybe the major topics. Where do I want to live after the divorce? Do I want to stay where I'm living? Would I like to live somewhere else if I could script it? And then you bring that to your attorney and develop a strategy overall based on how much cash you're going to have, where you'd like to live, where you'd like to work. I know it's hard to think about how you'd like it to be when you're in the midst of this, but that's sort of a mental shift that you want to start to make so you can design your preparation rather than have your preparation do you. Advice in terms of choosing a lawyer are a few things. One is you want to make sure they're seasoned enough, experienced enough that this is, not their first rodeo, so to speak. So you want someone who's been at this for, I would say, at least decades, so that they know the courts, they know the laws, and they really can focus on you, what you want for your future, what you want to design for yourself, and they're not learning the ropes as they go on your case. Okay, the other thing is I would do your homework. Speak to at least several attorneys. And then if they all seem equally competent to you, like they know what they're doing, trust your gut. You will have an instinct. Someone will vibe with you. Someone will be like, I don't know what it was about him or her, but just felt like they get me. Go with that person. When you're preparing for divorce and then going through divorce, you really want to strike a balance. So you don't want to be one of these people who is preparing on their own for divorce for years, because that equals you throwing years of your life away. You want to do some general thoughtfulness. You can start to gather some documents, but you really don't need to. You don't need to gather a single document to begin to partner with your attorney to develop your strategy to design your future. I promise you there's really nothing you need other than picking up the phone, finding your person, finding the person who matches with you for you, and then you can begin to strategize and work all that out together. So don't feel like you have to be on a hunt running out to the mailbox or trying to check your spouse's email to get all the documents that you need. You don't need to do that. The hardest part for people is taking that first action to retain their attorney and say, I'm doing this. For me, I'm doing it. So if you are interviewing attorneys, there are 2 or 3 questions that you want to make sure to ask. These are not legal questions. Once you have a sense of their general competence, you want to start to ask questions like, how will you assure that I can thrive after the divorce? How will you make sure that I'm going to get what I'm entitled to? Can you promise me that my children will be okay at the end of this? If you have any questions about how should I prepare for divorce, what do I need to know? Do I need a bunch of documents before we get started? Is there something I should ask my spouse for? Any of those kinds of questions, reach out to us at Hannon De Palma. We have the answers that you'll need and we can get you started right away.